And finally, a report many people have been waiting for. After a year, more than a year of investigating today, the U.S. Department of Justice released their report on the investigation into our Alvin S. Glen Detention Center, also called the Richland County Jail. News 19's Walker Lawson was at a press conference earlier today where the U.S. Attorney announced the findings, and he spent the day going through the report.
A culture of violence and a jail operating well beyond industry norms. That's how U.S. Attorney for South Carolina, Adair Burrows, describes Alvin S. Glen Detention Center following a 14-month investigation.
Individuals who are charged with a crime and detained at Alvin S. Glen face very real possibilities of being stabbed, raped, and beaten before they ever see a courtroom.
The 36-page findings report concludes that the jail violates the 8th Amendment, which prohibits cruel and unusual punishment, and the 14th Amendment, which guarantees due process of law. These violations stem from a failure to protect inmates from violence, like fights, stabbings, or sexual assault. The report outlines the troubling statistics, saying 60 stabbings were reported in 2023 alone, and 8 drug overdoses were reported in July and August of 2024, 3 of which were fatal. The report also showed weapons and illegal cell phones inside cell walls help gangs maintain control over the jail. According to Burrows, the issues are compounded by several underlying factors, including inmates being exposed to extreme violence, failures in tracking, reporting, and addressing incidents of violence and contraband, mismanagement of inmate housing, and chronic understaffing and poor supervision.
We found multiple incidences where crime scenes were cleaned up by inmates before the sheriff's office was ever notified, or maybe they weren't ever notified.
The investigation included interviews with detainees, their families, and an extensive review of letters, emails, and calls they received, all of which told disturbing stories of violence. Burrows did acknowledge during the press conference that Richland County has taken some steps to address the issues, and more significant efforts are needed.
We do applaud the steps the county has already taken with regard to the physical plant, and we believe that we have a shared goal with the county to make conditions at the jail safe, to make them meet minimal constitutional standards.
Some of the improvements recommended are implementing an October 2023 staffing plan for hiring needs, conducting a study to evaluate the classification system to better screen vulnerable individuals or those prone to violence, as well as develop a contraband interdiction plan. Burrows says that next steps will be working with the county to get a written agreement on what changes are required and when they will be completed. If that doesn't happen, the Department of Justice can bring forward a lawsuit. Richland County responded to the report by saying they disagree with the conclusion of the report, saying many facts are outdated and do not reflect the current conditions at the facility, adding, quote, "Over the coming days, the county and their legal teams will work with the Department of Justice to correct the department's misguided conclusions and to carefully consider all appropriate recommendations as they continue to enhance the functionality of the facility." Reporting in studio, Walker Lawson, News 19 WLTX.